So Tim, why don't you kick us off today?
Yes, many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on that unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure. Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this room, which is one of the reasons we have you in here, and there's many new faces in this room in comparison to the previous administrations. We want to welcome all viewpoints into this room. We welcome unbiased journalists who really care about the truth and the facts and the accuracy, and you rightfully pointed out the Maryland Man story, which I, from this podium, when The Atlantic published it, on that very first day, I came to this podium and said, this is wrong. The press in this room have this story wrong, and we have seen more and more evidence come to the table that we have had all along. We were always right. The president was always on the right side of this issue to deport this illegal criminal from our community. And it is despicable to see the media continue to refer to this individual as someone who is just a peaceful man living his life in Maryland. This was and always has been an illegal criminal, an MS-13 gang member, and a designated foreign terrorist. And the administration maintains our position to deport these individuals from our community. So thank you for being here, Tim.
In case you missed it, Tim Pool made his way into the White House briefing room. He didn't bother to dress up though. Love the zip-up hoodie and beanie combo, Tim. Wasn't he just complaining about Zelensky not wearing a suit in the White House? Anyway, let's actually take a look at the substance of his question. He uses the Abrego-Garcia case as cover for taking a shot at other reporters. And sure, many outlets in that room are worthy of criticism, but not for the reason that he suggests. Because what he's trying to do is conflate the Abrego-Garcia case, and if you are unfamiliar, that's the case of a Maryland man who was wrongfully deported. He's trying to conflate that case with incidents where the media, in the right's eyes, got the story wrong. Because his purpose here isn't to ask a question, it's to mislead people. He wants people to think this case is being reported inaccurately. Except it isn't. The Justice Department, perhaps inadvertently, admitted that he has never been accused of any criminal behavior. And ultimately, Tim Pool is trying to make the administration look good on mass deportation because right now they're really unpopular.
Trump's overall approval rating is now underwater. 44%, that's right, only 44% approve the job he's doing, while 55% disapprove. The president is also underwater on the issues of immigration, foreign policy, the economy, tariffs, and inflation.
A majority of Americans, according to new polling, disapprove of Trump on immigration. And it's not just because they're deporting people, it's also how they're doing it. Because what we're seeing is something so cruel and barbaric that even some conservatives are getting upset over it. And we'll get to some of those stories in a minute. But first, one thing that really sums up just how reckless they are is the arrest of a Wisconsin judge.
A sitting state court judge is facing federal charges and up to 6 years in prison in what critics are saying is a major escalation in the Trump administration's effort to pressure officials to assist in deportation efforts targeting millions of undocumented immigrants.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan seen here leaving court after being arrested by the FBI.
She let a criminal defendant walk out a door. She helped them. She obstructed justice. And that's what she's charged with. If you commit a crime in this country, you're going to be held accountable. Doesn't matter. We're going to prosecute you. No one is above the law, not even a judge.
There's no justice.
News of the arrest drew protesters to the courthouse. Dugan's attorney saying in court she wholeheartedly protests the arrest and believes it was not made in the interest of public safety. That Wisconsin judge is vowing to fight the charges. But if convicted, she faces up to 6 years in prison.
Recently, the FBI arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit Judge, Hannah Dugan. Now, she's facing 2 charges of obstruction for allegedly interfering with ICE activity. They wanted to arrest someone who was going to appear in her courtroom, and they claim that she helped him leave the courthouse through a jury door. And this gets into a long-standing moral question. It's about people's role in the judiciary and the legal system. ICE, for instance, simply because they are operating at Trump's direction, doesn't necessarily necessarily mean that they are moral or just. We're at a moment where everybody in the legal profession needs to consider their role in all of this. Whether they're a lawyer or a judge or somebody in the federal government, they all need to ask themselves about their role in this mass deportation scheme. And as we have seen in moments like this in the past, it takes courage to stand up, to act on your convictions, and do the right thing, even if those in power claim you are breaking the law. Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's moral or ethical or right. And this is one of those inflection points. Now, as this mass deportation dragnet extends across the country, we're seeing citizens get caught up in it. And not just adults, we're talking about children, toddlers, in fact.
And Torian, there's some new controversy tonight over the president's deportation actions.
Right. The Trump administration is defending sending a 2-year-old U.S. citizen to Honduras amid concerns from a federal judge. In an order issued Friday, U.S. District Judge Terry Doty scheduled a hearing next month in the case, saying he had a, quote, strong suspicion the government just deported a U.S. citizen with no meaningful process. The spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said the mother of the toddler made the decision to keep her and her 11-year-old sister in her custody during her deportation, despite pleas from her father to keep the children.
Multiple young children were deported by the Trump administration. Let that sink in for a second. We're talking about children as young as 2, who again have citizenship. There were 2 different moms who were deported with their children to Honduras. The government contends that they are being deported because they missed an appointment regarding their immigration status, and that these mothers allegedly requested that the children be deported with them. The fathers of these children contest the government's story because one of these children is a cancer patient and needs care here. Now, this child does not have access to their medication. This puts their life at risk. And for what? Why are we doing this? Moreover, these people weren't granted due process. Take a look.
Wow. So lawyers for the government are claiming that the mother had custody and indicated in that letter that she wanted to take the little girl with her. Would that override the little girl's American citizenship or her father's wishes that she stay here in the States?
Well, that's the whole issue. It's an adversarial system. So the way it works, really, it's scientific. Our judicial system for justice is wonderful. Each party, so they're 2 separate parties, and they fight really hard within the bounds of the law, and someone neutral in the middle makes a decision. And we think after that battling and that adversarial system, we have justice at the end. Here you have what's continuing on with the Trump Justice Department. They've really gotten rid of the third branch, the judiciary, and they say, look, this is our position, so we're going. So we win because we take this position. There have to be hearings. The Supreme Court has held now recently, just last week, there have to be hearings.
And Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, doesn't seem like he actually knows the facts.
When you enter the country legally, and you know you're here legally, and you choose to have your citizen child, that's on you. That's not on this administration. If you choose to put your family in that position, that's on them. But having a U.S. citizen child after you enter this country legally, it's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It doesn't make you immune from our laws. If that's the message we send to the entire world, women are going to keep putting themselves at risk to come to this country. You know, we send a message. You can enter the country legally, which is a crime. That's okay. You can have due process, great taxpayer expense, get ordered to move. That's okay. Don't leave. But have a U.S. citizen child and you're immune from removal, that's not the way it works.
So you don't think there should be compassionate consideration for a 4-year-old child undergoing treatment for cancer?
I didn't say that.
He's trying to say that these kids weren't deported. Their moms were. Buddy, if they are kicked out of the country, they're being deported. They have citizenship, but they weren't granted due process. But his argument is that it's too costly. Really, that's a new one. In that case, where do we contest Donald Trump's due process? Surely those trials were a drain of taxpayer resources. But it's not actually about that. This isn't about taxpayer resources. It is about a white nationalist mindset that deprives people who weren't born here and aren't white of their actual rights. These kids, however, were born here, but their mothers weren't. But simply by nature of their skin color and their parents' lineage, that's enough. That's enough for the Trump administration to kick them out too. Again, putting the life of a child in danger because of their cancer. But through all of this, we need to consider what we want this country to be and in which direction we want to head collectively. There are many things in the past that we now look back on and shake our head. Some of these things are stains on our national legacy, and people swear that they would never let these things happen again. Now is that time. Now is that time to fight back. And now is that time to stand up and say this is wrong. To do everything within within your power to stop it from continuing. You can start at the local level and you can work all the way up to the federal level, but you have to be doing something. The best thing to do is find an advocacy organization that operates within your community and get involved. Find the grassroots community in your area and participate early and often, because the more people that take action, the stronger our showing will be and the harder it will be for the Trump administration to keep this going. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.